Okay, thanks, Cindy. I'm going to cover the conclusions portion of the presentation. Wanted to go over the demographics real quick. 80% of the respondents range from 18 to 24 years old, which is a great candidate for brain drain. The gender was split basically 50-50. The employment status was predominantly part-time at 51%, followed by unemployment at about a third. The degrees pursued were predominantly a four-year undergraduate degree or a graduate degree. That accounted for 90% of those surveyed. So the expectations to stay in the capital region. We asked a couple questions here that gave some interesting results. First one we asked is, have you thought about staying in the capital region? And as you can see here, 7 out of 10 people said, yeah, I've thought about staying in the capital region. When we asked how likely is it that you're going to stay in the capital region, only 4 out of 10 said that that was likely that they were going to stay. So why are 7 out of 10 people thinking about the capital region and only 4 out of 10 actually staying? So some simple trends we wanted to cover first. Gender. Women are more likely to stay in the capital region than men. Hometown ties. If you've grown up in the capital region, you're more likely to remain in the capital region. I'm a good example of that, growing up in Latham myself. And level of education. As the level of education increases, the willingness to stay in the capital region increases. So we want to look at some factors that contribute to that disparity between the 7 out of 10 and the 4 out of 10. So the first factor here is the cost of living. We identified a weak relationship where respondents are more willing to remain in the capital region because they believe that the perceived cost of living is acceptable. And looking at the supporting question, the cost of living in the capital region was deemed acceptable by 63% of people. So as a result, the cost of living is favorable and not a strong factor in brain drain from the capital region. Second factor we looked at here is availability of jobs of interest. There was a moderate relationship where respondents were more willing to remain in the capital region because they believed that there was a high availability of jobs. And if you look at the two supporting questions here, 66% of the respondents said that they agree or strongly agree that there's jobs of interest that are available in the capital region. And then the likelihood of finding a desirable job, even though it fell a bit, 56% of them answered positively compared to less than 1/5 that answered negatively. So the result here is that availability of jobs is not a strong factor to brain drain in the capital region. The next factor we looked at was social events. We identified a moderate relationship where respondents are more willing to remain in the capital region because the perceived availability of social activities is acceptable in the capital region. And the supporting question identified that 54% stated that there were enough social or cultural activities as opposed to less than 1/5. So the conclusion here is the social activities are adequate and not a strong factor in brain drain from the capital region. And the next factor here is the attractiveness of pay. We identified a moderate positive relationship between the perception of pay level and the likelihood of staying in the capital region. So in short, if the pay is good, they're going to stay. The two supporting questions we have here show negative correlations with that perception of pay. 42.6% answered that pay is looked upon as negatively in the capital region, as opposed to about 25% that answered positively. And the perception of pay in the capital region, although it was very centered, if you look at the extremes, more than a quarter of the people said that pay is below average, as opposed to only 5% that said that pay is above average. So the conclusion here is that pay is generally not attractive in the capital region and is a strong factor to brain drain. What we asked here is, we've got these 4 different factors: job availability, earning potential, acceptable cost of living, and social and recreational activities. Which one does the capital region lack the most? And the overwhelming majority was earning potential at 53%. In fact, the next one, the second ranking was 18.5%. There was a difference of more than a third of all answers in the survey. That shows you that the earning potential was identified as a major obstacle towards keeping people in the capital region. But what I found interesting here is when we asked about career advancement opportunities, 42% of the people answered that career advancement opportunities in the capital region are positive. So earning potential is bad, but career advancement opportunities is good. So this might lead one to believe that earning potential is not commensurate with advanced positions. So the main conclusion I wanted to call out here is that earning potential is the strongest factor identified towards brain drain in the capital region. And with that, if there's any questions.